Ask your doctor about once daily Trelegy for COPD, because breathing should be beautiful all day and night.
We're in this together. Sex and surgery all day.
Got this drive inside.
Some might call it inspiring.
Okay, I'm a little obsessed.
Welcome back. Sarah's Behind is on our Behind the Table podcast today. We want you to have a great day, everyone. Take a little time to enjoy the view, and please don't give up. We are in this together, and we will get through it together. We'll see you tomorrow.
This is ABC 7 News at Noon.
The Skowhegan town manager who just recently passed away was being investigated by police at the time of his death. Good afternoon, I'm Susan Farley. A large-scale drug bust was made in Herman yesterday, and a bill that could make it easier for Mainers to repair phones, laptops, and other electronic devices is moving forward at the State House. Thank you for joining us. We'll have more on these and other stories coming up. First, let's check in with meteorologist Devin Biggs. Devin?
Hey Susan, happy Thursday afternoon. We have a small craft advisory that will be expiring at 2 o'clock as we head towards your Friday. Along the coast, active surf will be a thing until about that time frame. As we check things out right now, we've had some rain and snow developing, and we're going to hold on to that for a little while. But as we head towards the afternoon period, we'll see some improvement as we do move forward in time. Here we are as we do move forward. Again, the last of the precipitation starting to pass through, so through later this afternoon, notice that improvement before we get another wave of precipitation later on tonight. Here's Futurecast, even some breaks in the clouds, but notice later on tonight we have more precipitation, primarily rain, a little bit of snow on the way. Then we really clear out tonight and the parts of your Friday. But as we do move forward, we will have more gusty winds on the way, more so as we head towards later on tonight and the parts of tomorrow, reaching up to around 25 to even 30 miles per hour. So for today, the rain and snow will be wrapping up. Will still be mostly cloudy with temperatures in the low 50s and that south wind at around 25 miles per hour. We cool off a little bit tonight, low 30s with more rain and snow showers, and that north breeze at around 5 miles per hour. The hourly forecast moving forward, we do have temperatures in the 50s with the rain and snow wrapping up. Your full 5-day forecast is coming up. Susan?
Thank you, Devin. New details have emerged following the sudden passing of Skowhegan town manager Nicholas Neto. Those details provided by the Maine State Police say that Neto was under investigation for online sexual exploitation prior to his death. The state medical examiner's office says Neto likely took his own life. Brad Rogers reports on his alleged online involvement with a 14-year-old girl.
Maine State Police say its Special Victims Unit initiated an investigation earlier this month after receiving a direct report from the National Center for Missing and Exploited Children. Police say the tip originated from a 14-year-old girl in Florida who reported inappropriate online communication with an adult male. The investigation involved 32-year-old Nicholas Neto of Winslow, Maine. According to search warrant affidavits of both his home and the Skowhegan town office, Neto is alleged to have had sexual conversations with the girl even after she told him she was 14. The 14-year-old also told police he sent nude images to her and got her to send explicit photos to him. According to state police, the investigation was in its early stages when Nicholas Nadeau died. Whitney Cunliffe, chair of Skowhegan Select Board, told us this is a deeply troubling and very difficult moment for our community. My thoughts are with anyone who may have been harmed. A close friend of Nadeau told us family and friends are in shock right now as they grieve his death. She says he was a smart, thoughtful person, dedicated to his job, family and friends, and always willing to help people out. Patricia Clement, who lives in Skowhegan, echoes those sentiments.
He was a wonderful guy that the selectmen were happy to have him. I can't imagine him at all being that kind of person.
It's a tragedy for everybody here.
Donnie Zalewski was sworn in this morning as Skowhegan's interim town manager. He also has concerns for the victim.
It's important that the information does get out, and it's important that we protect the families and any victims involved. It's heartbreaking all around.
State police say due to the death of Nadeau, the case has been closed and no charges will be filed.
The Penobscot County Sheriff's Office says a heavy police presence on the Croghan Road in Herman yesterday afternoon was caused by a large-scale drug bust. The Sheriff's Office says they were investigating drug trafficking from a residence. While searching the residence, deputies have located approximately half a kilogram of combined illegal drugs inside that residence, including methamphetamine, crack cocaine, and fentanyl. 3 individuals were apprehended, and the Penobscot County Sheriff Troy Morton says there is no danger to the public.
We executed a search warrant for drug investigation. Our office is going to continue to target those that are trafficking in dangerous drugs to our area. We understand that individuals struggle with substance use, and that is not our target nor our mission.
Chad Langley and Daquan Moore are both facing drug trafficking charges. Shelley Perry was also arrested and charged with failure to appear in court. Sheriff Morton adds that the incident remains under investigation. The Penobscot County Grand Jury has indicted an Orrington man for murder in connection with the death of his 12-week-old daughter. 24-year-old Sean Samuels was also indicted on charges of manslaughter and violation of conditions of release. On January 16th, crews responded to a 911 call about an infant that had become unresponsive. The infant, Lila Samuels, was transported to Northern Light Eastern Maine Medical Center, where she died on January 18th. A state police spokesperson says an autopsy determined the manner of death was homicide. The grand jury indicted a Bangor man for attempted murder after he allegedly attacked a neighbor with a machete. 24-year-old Zachary Wright was arrested on January 15th after police got a call from a man on Sunset Avenue who told them he was being attacked. Bangor Police Sergeant Jeremy Brock says when officers arrived, they located the alleged victim, who was able to disarm his attacker. Brock says the alleged victim had several lacerations on his head. According to Brock, the alleged victim identified his alleged attacker as his neighbor Zachary Wright and told police they had issues in the past. Wright was also indicted for aggravated assault. A tractor-trailer loaded with liquid nitrogen overturned Wednesday morning in Rockport. It happened on Rockland Street, which was shut down for hours while crews took care of the scene. Firefighters say the driver managed to escape from his truck and is doing okay. While the truck was filled with liquid nitrogen, the fire department says it was never explosive. The nitrogen leaked, but officials say there were no environmental impacts. Bangor will soon be home to a tiny home village aimed at helping people who are experiencing homelessness. Our Alex Schley has more on what residents can expect.
The Bangor-based nonprofit Dignity First announced Tuesday it received $2 million in congressionally directed spending to fund a tiny home community aimed at helping to address the city's homeless crisis.
Dignity First started in 2019, just looking at what could be done to help with the homelessness situation. Through the process of figuring out what the options were for things to do, it was very clear that housing was necessary.
President of Dignity First, Anna Phillips, says they came across a Community First model, which was established by the Texas-based group Mobile Loaves and Fishes. She says the homes start at about 120 square feet, with larger units available for families.
One end for your bedroom, then you're going to have your bathroom, small bathroom, and a little kind of kitchenette.
Phillips says the project has been years in the making. Now that the funding is secured, they're working to reconnect with the city to move the project forward.
And we worked a lot with the city 3-4 years ago to find spaces that would be good for this. We had that all evaluated by engineers and architects, so we have a list.
The plan is to start small and then grow.
Ultimately, we want a couple groups of like 20 homes in a neighborhood, but we're going to start with just a few and get the program started, and then expand from there as we can.
The organization says move-in day is still likely a couple years away, but they hope to have a location locked in by the end of the year. In Bangor, Alex Schley for ABC 7 and Fox 22 News.
Coming up on ABC 7 News at noon, there are new developments in the war with Iran. We'll be right back.
This is the road where he grew up, where he came home. To the tide pulling back before it comes in strong. To the quiet pride of people whose days are long. To work that echoes but never seeks applause. To fishermen who are ever familiar with the dawn. To mill workers and nurses and teachers and loggers who ask for little but have received even less. This is Grand Plattner's Maine. This is Grand Plattner's Road, a winding path of service, of struggle, of courage, a commitment that greatness will not only define the past, dignity for workers, the freedom of joy for families at last. It is no longer just a whisper, but a voice with a demand.
It's Mainers first, in Maine, always. I'm Grant Plattner, and I approve this message.
Welcome to outdoor living. Welcome to Granville Stone and Hearth. Goodness knows we've been cooped up long enough. Make plans now to enjoy the outside of your home, too. Come to Granville and see, touch, and imagine what you can do in your backyard. Light a path, light a fire, grill a meal, sit a bit. It's all in stock. There's a staycation right outside your door with expert help from Granville, one of the largest outdoor living suppliers in Maine. Granville Stone and Hearth, Main Road, Holden.
In winter, accidents can happen in an instant. From icy sidewalks to winter roads, there are close calls around every corner. And when a close call becomes something more, insurance companies won't always look out for you, but we will. For over 50 years, the law offices of Joe Bornstein have helped injured Mainers. Accidents happen to be our specialty. When it's more than a close call, call Joe.
He was having some trouble with his truck.
Fixed up by his mechanic neighbor.
He agreed to let me do the work, and I did the work. That you were not compensated for. I'm looking for where he acknowledges that you had been paying him.
He will not acknowledge it at all, Your Honor.
Right.
Then, did this repairman blow a gasket?
Coming over heavily intoxicated one evening, screaming at my wife.
A restraining order was granted against you 3 times.
Next Judge Judy.
Thursday at 5 on ABC 7.
You're watching ABC 7 Bangor.
An intense wave of strikes in Israel this morning. Iran claims 70 targets were hit. Israel also claiming that they killed another key member of the Iranian government, the man who closed the Strait of Hormuz. ABC's Olivia Rubin has those details and the latest on negotiations to end the war.
Today, unrelenting Iranian strikes raining down on Israel. Officials there saying 5 waves hitting in just 2 hours. New videos showing the moment one strike blasted a residential street east of Tel Aviv. Officials saying 6 people injured. Israel returning fire, claiming another high-profile Iranian assassination. The head of the Iranian Navy, Ali Reza Tangsiri, responsible for the closure of the Strait of Hormuz. Iran has yet to confirm the death. This morning, President Trump insisting Iran wants to end the war, despite Iranian state media reporting that Iran rejected his 15-point peace plan and maintains there are no negotiations going on.
They are begging to make a deal.
This morning, President Trump holding his first cabinet meeting since the war began.
But they say, oh, we're not talking to them. Anybody would know that. And only a total fool. And they're not fools. They're very smart, actually, in a certain way. And they're great negotiators. I say they're lousy fighters, but they're great negotiators.
Sources say the U.S. and Iran are trading messages through Pakistan. A month into this war, the president has refused to rule out putting boots on the ground. Lawmakers uneasy about the prospect.
My hope is that we do not have boots on the ground.
On Capitol Hill yesterday, Republicans leaving a classified briefing with the Pentagon frustrated. Congresswoman Nancy Mace saying the justifications presented to the American public for war in Iran were not the same military objectives we were briefed on. The longer this war continues, the faster it will lose support of Congress and the American people. And President Trump lashing out at NATO allies, saying they have done, quote, absolutely nothing to help with the war in Iran, but many of them say it's just not their war to fight. Olivia Rubin, ABC News, Washington.
As the war in Ukraine ramps back up, drone attacks took out more than 40% of Russia's oil export capacity, potentially crippling the economy and hampering Moscow's ability to continue the war. Correspondent Benjamin Hall has more.
Fires that erupted from a major Russian oil port could be seen as far as Finland, part of a new Ukrainian offensive targeting Russia's most valuable commodity. The Ukrainians have now knocked out more than 40% of Russia's oil export capacity, hitting pipelines, refineries and pumping stations. It is a direct effort to choke off energy revenues that fund Moscow's war machine. And now Ukraine is asking its European allies to help.
We need joint action to create strong laws in Europe that allow countries to block Russian tankers and confiscate the oil.
These new attacks came just days after Russia launched almost 1,000 drones in a 24-hour period, signaling the start of their spring offensive. But experts say Ukraine is now in a better position to defend itself.
We've seen Ukrainians deploy and their multi-layered air defense. It takes these massive assaults to even get anything through the air defense.
Meanwhile, the Russians say talks are proceeding, but major sticking points remain, including land concessions.
The territorial issue in particular constitutes the central topic for discussion. There has been no progress on this matter whatsoever, and there still isn't.
President Trump is still pushing for a diplomatic solution, but also says it won't be easy.
You'll find out that hatred is not good for making deals. These are people that they don't like each other very much.
The latest round of talks was held over the weekend between the US and Ukraine's negotiating team, but it is unclear when they'll meet again. In London, Benjamin Hall, Fox News.
Crowds gathering outside of a Manhattan federal court where former Venezuelan President Nicolas Maduro and his wife are expected to appear. Maduro and his wife are due in court today as his lawyers try to have his drug trafficking indictment thrown out due to a dispute over legal fees. Pro-Maduro supporters were outside early today demanding the release of Maduro and his wife. It will be their first appearance since their January arraignment where Maduro protested their capture by U.S. military forces. Both Maduro and his wife have pled not guilty to drug trafficking charges. As we reported at the beginning of the week, nurses at Northern Light Eastern Maine Medical Center have a tentative contract agreement after months of bargaining. The vote on their contract was slated for last night. They also have the support of a Maine congressional candidate. Our Callie Warren explains.
It's been a months-long battle for the nurses at Eastern Maine Medical Center to get what they say is a fair and safe contract. Now, that battle is coming to a close.
We have spent a lot of time, a lot of energy, meeting, talking, informing, educating.
Those nurses are celebrating the culmination of those lengthy negotiations. After unionizing and representing the interests of over 800 nurses, they say they're finally being heard by their employers.
It's huge for us. The medical center's team came at us really hard. It's huge for the team. It's huge for our membership. It was really, really important.
Though they say it hasn't been an easy task.
The threat of a strike is what got us this agreement. They were not going to talk to us on several issues until that strike notice was on their desk.
Endorsed by the nurses union, Senate candidate Graham Plattner was joined by nurses as he signed a pledge to not accept healthcare PAC donations.
When the hospital closes in rural Maine, it doesn't matter who you voted for. It doesn't matter if you're a Republican or a Democrat. This is not a Republican or Democrat issue. This is an issue of working people versus a system that wants to exploit them.
Nurses have been, for decades, right, fighting for safe staffing, for Medicare for all, and to have a candidate that embodies our values and is using them as his platform, it's huge.
That contract details fair wages, safe nurse-to-patient staffing ratios, balanced time off, health coverage, and more for nurses. The union voted Wednesday evening with the contract passing.
We know that we have some of that power, right? We can stand together and really put our power toward getting what this community and what our nurses and what our patients really deserve.
In Bangor, Callie Warren, ABC 7 and Fox 22 News.
After the break, there should be more clarity on meat labeling. We've got details when we return.
Got old metal and junk cars? Turn that clutter into cash at Daddy and Daughters. We make recycling easy, fast, and fair. From Skowhegan to Dover Foxcroft, from Troy to Lee, you can trust our certified scales and friendly service, offering top prices for junk vehicles in Maine. Whether you drop off or we pick up, Daddy and Daughters covers Central and Eastern Maine. Come see us at one of our 4 locations and watch your scrap pay off. Daddy and Daughters, turn scrap into cash.
Diabetes isn't a death sentence, but it is absolutely a life sentence, and you have to figure out how you're going to keep your kid alive. So when you find somebody from the government that's on your side, and it happens to be Susan Collins at the same time, that was just magnificent. After the meeting in Portland for my wife and son, my wife came back. She was 10 feet tall. She'd felt seen, she felt heard, and she felt like we had a powerful advocate on our side. It was a big step towards healing.
Thank you, Senator Collins.
Please continue delivering for T1 families.
When it comes to your home, go to the source. Go to R&B's Home Source in Madison. R&B's Home Source has home comfort, convenience, and savings all wrapped up in one location. From the living room to the dining room to the bedroom, we have some of the best values in furniture and bedding. For the kitchen, R&B's Home Source has top-notch appliances from fridges to ranges, even washers and dryers. And sit back and relax with quality electronics. We service everything we sell too. For your home, go to the source. R&B's Home Source, Lakewood Road, Madison.
We got 2 passengers trapped underneath.
We got this cat.
Brick by brick, let's get her out.
911 is one of the most ambitious and compelling shows on television.
Thank you for saving her.
This season is its best yet.
Put down the knife.
911 tonight on ABC and stream on Hulu.
Most business problems start with one thing: unreliable technology. Digital Brains monitors, protects, and maintains your entire IT environment, keeping everything running flawlessly. When your technology works for you, your business starts thriving. Faster service, happier clients, more productivity, less stress. Clients don't wait, neither should you. Contact Digital Brains today for your free technology assessment. Digital Brains, we help people feel free.
New rules from the USDA help clarify what product of USA on meat products really means. ABC's Alex Stone has details.
New rules for foods made in America. The Department of Agriculture has finalized a new voluntary rule for product of USA labeling on meat, poultry, and egg products. Under the rule, companies can only use a label if animals were born, raised, slaughtered, and processed in the United States. Previously, imported meat could be labeled as U.S. product if raised out of the country but processed domestically, a practice many consumers found misleading. While the use of the claim remains optional, companies that use it must maintain documentation to prove compliance. Claims must be truthful and avoid deception, or companies risk product recalls and hefty fines. The new rule aims to restore trust and clarity in food labeling. An agency statement says it's part of a broader strategy to boost transparency and level the playing field for U.S. farmers. With this Medical Minute, I'm Alex Stone.
Agricultural leaders are backing a bill they say is critical to saving Maine farms. Supporters warn that without it, rising costs and farm closures could push the industry past a tipping point. Our Alexa Kennedy has the details.
Wednesday, a coalition of organizations gathered at the State House for Agricultural Day, holding a press conference in support of a proposed bond measure aimed at strengthening the state's farming industry. The bill, known as LD 2094, would invest $50 million into existing agriculture and forestry programs across Maine.
Our businesses are reaching a tipping point of just being unable to invest. Input costs keep rising. Our cost of production on our farms just keeps increasing.
She emphasized that the bond would provide low-interest loans to help farms reinvest in their businesses and remain sustainable.
Our heritage industries of farming and forestry are honestly the backbone of this state, and this landmark investment would be revolutionary for many farms.
Farmers across the state echoed those concerns, pointing to a steady decline in the number of Maine farms.
The first realization I had was that 50% of the farms that were here in 2017 when I left are now gone. Friends, neighbors, all selling out.
According to Penny Jordan, co-owner of Jordan's Farm, Maine has lost more than 500 farms and tens of thousands of acres of farmland in recent years.
In the not too distant future is farms taking farmland out of production in order to sell it for something more profitable.
Supporters say the investment would help modernize operations and keep farms competitive.
We received funding from a similar bill 4 years ago that made all the difference in the world for our farm and gave us real hope for the future.
In Augusta, Alexa Kennedy, ABC 7 and Fox 22 News.
When we return, Devin Biggs has your 5-day forecast.
Spring is here, and so are huge savings on all your favorite brands, including Benjamin Moore paints and Hunter Douglas shades. Color Concepts, 840 Hammond Street, Bangor.
Falls are the #1 cause of injury to senior citizens. Acorn Stair Lifts has the solution. Just don't fall. Sit, relax, ride with an Acorn Stair Lift, the world's leader in stair lifts. Don't let limited mobility keep you from going up and down your stairs, even outside. Call Acorn Stair Lifts now for a free information kit and no obligation quote. Why risk falling when you can safely ride?
Our Acorn Stair Lift is definitely more affordable than moving.
The Acorn Stair Lift has a padded seat and backrest. Safety sensors stop the chair if there are obstacles. The seat swivels and locks so you don't twist your body. And the Acorn Stair Lift folds away. It even runs during power outages.
I was really surprised at how little it cost.
Call 1-800-732-2971 right now for your free information kit or visit our website today. That's 1-800-732-2971.
When you're ready to remodel your kitchen, find all the materials and services you need at Hammond Lumber Company. Get inspired by the extensive in-store displays in Hammond's kitchen, bath, and flooring division. Hammond's designers will help you visualize your space before the work begins. And all design fees are refunded when you purchase your materials from them. And Hammond delivers from 34 locations across Maine and New Hampshire. When it's time for a new kitchen, it's time to bring your vision to Hammond Lumber Company, your building project partner.
Spring is here, and so are huge savings on all your favorite brands, including Benjamin Moore paints and Hunter Douglas shades. Color Concepts, 840 Hammond Street, Bangor.
Let's check your full forecast with Devin Biggs. Devin?
Alrighty, Susan, thank you very much. Your full weather forecast brought to you by Old Town Redemption Center, now offering a 10% bonus on your returnables and a monthly $100 drawing. Here's where we stand with the advisories. A small craft advisory up along the coast until 2 o'clock Friday afternoon along the coast as we're watching for some active surf that is still taking place until about that time frame. And we're still seeing things at around 3 to 4 feet according to the buoys. Some of the lighter colors indicating some more active surf across the region. Farther out towards sea, pretty similar at around 3 to 4 feet. So again, not as bad as what we've seen rather recently across our neck of the woods. Now we've had rain and snow developing across our neck of the woods. We've had a few breaks here or there. You can see some warmer air pushing in, but we are going to see temperatures warming into the 50s today, which will cause any precipitation hanging around to switch over to rain. We'll see the precipitation back off through the afternoon period today as we see the last of this track off towards the east, but there will be more activity moving in later on this afternoon into the evening time frame. Let's break this down with Futurecast. This will track off east. We'll just have clouds, even a few breaks in the clouds at times. Here we are with more precipitation by around 5, 6, 7 o'clock. That's the start time. Here we are later on tonight with more of that rain, maybe a little bit of snow mixing in at times. And then by Friday morning, look at this, some clouds and a lot of sunshine. This will look nice. Even by Friday night, we're looking great too. And even once we head towards Saturday morning, still looking rather nice. So in the meantime, any additional snowfall will stay to the north. If anything falls to the south, it will be very minimal, if any at best. But we will have that opportunity for any additional rainfall. Will be 1/10 to 1/4 of an inch at best, with a little bit more further off towards the south and east. So the rain and snow will be ending today, mostly cloudy with highs in the low 50s and that south wind at around 25 miles per hour. Overnight rain and snow showers, lower 30s for the overnight low, and that north breeze at about 5 miles per hour. Tomorrow, upper 30s, mostly sunny and windy with that northwest wind at about 30 miles per hour. Let's check out your extended forecast brought to you by Old Town Redemption Center. Mostly sunny Saturday with highs in the low 30s. Partly cloudy Palm Sunday with highs in the low 40s. And then upper 40s for your Monday with a chance for rain and snow.
Thank you, Devin. If you love science, then there's an event that kicked off yesterday you'll want to be aware of. The Maine Science Festival started and it runs until March 29th. The 5-day festival is packed full of dozens of events and activities like 5-Minute Genius and Science on Tap. There are also numerous exhibits and workshops. The various events are held at multiple venues around Bangor, including the Cross Insurance Center. For more information, head to mainsciencefestival.org. And one kitty in Missouri just learned a very valuable lesson from hiding from the vet, and it just isn't worth it, especially when you get stuck inside of a recliner. That's right, the cat was due for a vet checkup Saturday and slid under the recliner to hide from its owner. The plans were foiled when the cat got stuck and needed rescuing. Overland Park firefighters, along with animal control, were called in. Firefighters ended up using a saw to cut the bars and free the cat. The feline was not hurt and made it just in time for its appointment. I feel like a magician at my house. I bring out the cat carrier and poof, they're gone. That's all for ABC 7 News at noon. Thanks for watching. I'm Susan Farley. We'll see you this evening on ABC 7 News at 6. Have a great afternoon.
Is your Maine issued license or ID expiring soon? Good news!